Okay then everyone, hello to you all. This is Toys R Us and this is my Talking Toys podcast. Unbelievable, number 5 already. So quick thing, I'm really enjoying doing these. Thank you for all the feedback. I'm going to elaborate on that a little bit more in a second. There's just the first couple of things that I need to do before we get started, and that is 2 huge thank yous. I think these are pretty obvious as to who they are if you've been watching the channel. I've been incredibly lucky again on this channel with all the experiences and the things that I've had, I suppose, just sort of, I don't want to say fall at my feet because that might not be too correct, but the opportunities that by doing this channel have, they've arisen. They've just given me some crazy things. And again, last week was, again, no exception to this. I got 2 huge boxes, the biggest obviously from Hasbro, which it still just sort of blows my mind what they do and how much they're sort of looking at this sort of channel, and again just the interaction they're having with the fans, as I tried to get across to people at the PulseCon and in the last podcast. I'm not going to talk about it much more again, that it's just great to be, as I say, part of this community. And they sent me a huge box. It's huge. They didn't have to do that. I'm obviously going to get a review out of every single figure because, to be honest, they're fun, and I'm going to come to that again in a second as well. So huge thank you to them. They sent me that great big box set. And Blokees as well. Blokees exactly the same. I've had nothing but great correspondence with them now for a couple of weeks. Great interaction. They seem fantastic. My first experience of the products, again, I'm going to discuss that in a little bit more detail later on, is again nothing but positive, exactly what I thought they would be. So huge thank you to both of them. Of course, the other thank you is to you guys, because again, I say it and I mean it, this channel wouldn't be as popular, it wouldn't be anything without you guys. And that leads me on to my first sort of point, or first sort of topic. I'm more than happy, I suppose, to discuss anything on these. Again, these are for you. These, if you want me to answer any questions, it's an ideal opportunity to get that question across, and I can answer it in a bit more detail, rather than trying to answer something, you know, on a live stream when all the comments are going up too fast. And in honesty, a lot of the times now I'm not keeping up, and I'd rather just be able to answer it thoroughly and detailed in this particular podcast, which is what I'm going to do in a second with regarding to sort of things that I'm looking forward to. So again, you know, obviously within reason, I'm pretty open to answering every single question that people want to ask about the channel, about the toys, about things I'm doing, everything, that sort of stuff. I'm more than happy. So yes, guys, any comments, any feedback, anything you want to know in detail, I suppose specifically, please do let me know. And as I say, I can probably address it, which funnily enough leads me straight into this week's. What I'm looking forward to, there's a few things I'm looking forward to be honest, but the first and foremost is I'm going to do an event at the NEC this week. For you new to the channel, what it is, or if you don't live in the UK, the NEC Birmingham stands for National Exhibition Centre. It is huge. It hosts everything there. You're talking anything from music concerts, car shows, everything. It's an exhibition centre, so all bases are covered. But what they also do is they're probably the biggest, it's definitely the biggest indoor toy fair in the UK. I don't know about Europe, but I don't know anywhere where there's 550 tables. That's how many there is this time. It's huge. There's going to be 550 tables, and everything inside there is toys. So at first I thought it was going to be a bit like a glorified car boot sale. I think in America you'd refer to them as yard sales or something like that. But so a car boot sale is obviously where you just rock up and you put everything out your boot and you sell it. Whereas this toy fair, it's indoors for a start, so there's no danger of being wet. The other thing as well, it's all toys. Now, granted, it's not all Transformers, and granted, it's not all what I would class as Hasbro toys. It is everything. It's a bit like a TF Nation mixed in with an MCN, mixed in with some vintage shop vibes, mixed in with everything. As I say, 550 tables. We are ranging from trains, because it used to be called like a toy and train fair, but so many things now. I think the toy train scene has never been huge in the UK. It's been big enough because obviously it's toy and train fairs have been around forever, but this is diversified into what they call it. As I said, they just call it a toy fair. Don't get me wrong, there's a few toy sellers selling Hornby trains and tracks and everything, etc., but it's just so much more now. Of course, you're going to get your stands with pop characters, Hot Wheels characters, loads of pop culture stuff. Of course, there's quite a few Transformers. One of the main reasons why I first went ages ago was because to see Andrew Rodwell, who's Moose and Squirrel and Buy Sell Rodwell on eBay. He did a store as well. Space Bridgeport obviously always has some incredible things on, so I'm going to spend a bit of time hopefully over there. But again, I'm just trying to explain to you guys, 550 stores of toys all toys, only toys, nothing else. So it's pretty much heaven for guys like us. And even though I'm very tunnel vision with what I collect, as in I only collect Transformers, I have a great appreciation for anything I grew up with. So Mantiforce, Mask, Master of the Universe, Star Wars, all them sort of stuff, they're all there. Hot Wheels I'm starting to get a bit of an appreciation for, because obviously Transformers are doing, they're doing Transformer ones. Pop vinyls have always been interesting, but something I've never really wanted to collect. And just the abundance of everything else that's there. There's going to be Disney, there's going to be a complete mixed batch. But again, the reason why I'm looking forward to it is because I'm doing a stand, which means I'm doing a store, which means I'm selling on a few figures. And this, I suppose, is coming into one of the first sort of questions that I do get asked a lot, and about how my collection's grown. And I've made no, bear no secrets about this. I've been very lucky that I've had 90+% of that. Because again, I recycle it. This is the word I'm coming into now, for a long period of time, 2 decades, etc. And I suppose because of the way the channel's helped accelerate my collection to the nth degree, I didn't expect it to accelerate so fast. But this is something that I've always done when I started off. I say recycle your collection because a lot of people I know go through phases and they collect different things, so they buy to sell. So basically the things that you end up getting, a lot of the time, you're not really paying anything net spend, because you've had it, or you paid a few quid for it years and years ago. You've kept it for years and years. You've kept it in good condition. It now doesn't serve its purpose. I can use the movie figures as a I've got 2 brilliant examples. One is the movie figures. I brought them so cheap in discount stores in the UK, TK Maxx's, B&M stores, and I like Transformers. I love Transformers. I like the movies, but for me, I didn't have that same connection, that same nostalgic effect that I get, even if it's a Generations figure. It's a brand new figure, but it's an old character that I'm more familiar with. So I brought the newer movie figures because I like Transformers, and my intention was, funny enough, to sell them in about 15 years time, when it's about the 30-40 year anniversary. However, because my collection's changed so much and I need to fund my collection, because my not bread and butter, that's not the right, my obvious favourites, I can't think of the words I'm trying to say, but my obvious absolute main focus, that's the word I'm after. My main focus is Generation 1, and at the moment finding variants of it. So what I've done over the years is exactly that. I've sold to buy new things. Now obviously on this particular scale, it's an actual stand, it's a stall. I'm going to have a load of figures, complete mix of everything, not just Transformers. Actually, I've got some of my little boys' toys, I've got some Hot Wheels, I've got some things that I've picked up cheap that I've seen in toy shops when I go there and think, I know that I can sell that on, etc. And I think a lot of people tend to do that anyway, buy to sell. In the UK, it was referred to as being like a Del Boy a few years, 2 decades ago, which was basically, it was a program about a bloke who did that all the time, bought and sold. But that's how I started off. I was buying collections, only buying figures that I wanted. So I would buy a big collection, and I've joked about this so many times, the amount of times I've sold Action Masters on to then have to come back and buy them 10 years later. It's a joke, really. And I think that's what I'm trying to say. Recycle your collection. If you've got something that you're not really fond of anymore, it doesn't really suit its purpose, or you've just changed. You've gone from, you've just gone from mainline to masterpiece. You've gone from mainline to third party. You've gone from movies to Bumblebee concept movie, whatever it is. There's always something which you look at. For me at the moment, again, I'm now selling my masterpiece figures, because I don't want to say they've served their purpose, but it sort of is. I enjoyed them. They were great fun when they first come out. I then didn't buy any for years because I just thought they got too expensive. And I brought pretty much number 1 up to just before Ratchet and Ironhide were released. So I had the Datsun Brothers, Red Alert, etc., loads and loads of them, even the Japanese Takara ones rather than the Hasbro ones. And then funny enough, I started collecting again, and I have got a couple. I'm going to keep the 44 Toy Deco, and I'm going to keep Raiden because I still haven't built him up. Whereas I started buying skids, cross-cut and all that sort of stuff, and they were fun, but they now don't suit my collection. But so it doesn't mean they're rubbish. I think you guys realise what I'm about to say. Unless you completely break it or lose parts, they don't lose value anymore. In fact, a lot of the time you'll find that they actually increase in value. So you can buy something first time round, and then, like me now, my masterpiece figures, I've got no place to display them. I'm really moving on to getting more out of the display of my G1 stuff. I want to be able to get more G1 stuff up. Plus the Titans, I can't fit my Titans anywhere, and I love the Titans. So the masterpiece figures are going to go. Will I get seller's regret? I don't know. More than likely I will get seller's regret. But what I'm trying to say to people is, you could always expand your collection. quite easily buy. I've used the word recycle, and that's exactly what I always did beforehand. I'd buy and sell between friends, I'd buy and sell the odd thing on eBay, and then of course now, because it's just more fun, and it's easier, it's way easier, and I've just said it's way more fun to just pay. It's £65 now. It sounds quite a lot, but £65 for a great big 6-foot table. I can put some shelves on it, I can put some stuff underneath it, I can take a load of stuff. And I think that's the other word, convenience. I buy and sell on eBay as well, under under my Toys R Us 1979, I think, handle. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's effort. I've got 3 kids, it's time consuming. I've got a wife, I want to enjoy time, I want to spend time with them. I remember one weekend when I listed so many things, then I realised I'm not wasted, but the weekend had gone, and I'd have much rather have done things like spending time with my family, etc. Whereas with this, I can rock up with 200, 300, 400, however many things that I've got, stick them all on a table, and fingers crossed they'll sell. And you haven't got to worry about sellers fees, haven't you got to worry about any of them other sort of things. And also, as I said, I'm guaranteed to see things there that I'm going to want. So I'm going to end up recycling, so I'm going to sell a load of stuff. Paul's going to have something for me on the space bridge that's really rare, and I've wanted it for ages, and I'm just going to end up buying that, or I'll put the money towards something else, etc, etc. So that's what I'm trying to say to you guys: recycle your collection. I always get lots of people saying, how have you amassed so much, how do you do this, how do you keep it? And the biggest clue, the biggest tip I can give is that it's, again, unless you really do love every single piece, every single figure that you've got, my advice I used to give people before was I would never have a collection of things that I couldn't display. Now that's changed slightly because of course I do these videos, so I'm buying more figures than normal, and again, obviously last week I've been very kindly gifted some figures that I perhaps wouldn't normally buy. So I've got to make space for them. So of course I've got a few storage boxes, but this is again why I'm selling my masterpiece, because I want to revert back to, I love my collection, of course I do, but I want to get the stuff that I've hunted for ages for, or I've found a real gem. I want to put, where all my masterpiece figures are, I want to put some G1 boxes just because I love the box art. I might even scale back down on my G1 display of the fact that I've got multiple figures. I've done that a lot with a lot of the figures already, like where I've got 2 or 3 of each because I want to show each mode. I'm even thinking of scaling down on that as well, to just having a boxed example and a robot example, just so I can put more out, more of the packaging, more of the boxes out on display. So again, it's your collection. I can't tell you what to do with it. I can't give you advice. I get asked advice. I get people genuinely asking me, what should I do with this? And my answer is always exactly what I'm telling you now. It's your collection, guys. Do what makes you happy. Put them in the display which makes you happy. If there's a figure that you don't like, somebody commented on the fact that they really didn't like the Kingdom Warpath figure the other day because it really was annoying to transform. If you don't like it and it doesn't serve a purpose, not this, but this isn't aimed at that particular person. This is aimed at anybody. If you've got figures that you don't really like and don't bring you any joy, then they're the first to go. Obviously, there's multiple avenues out there now. I'm talking from Facebook groups where they do buy, sell, trade, BST. So there's loads of BST groups. There's European ones, American ones. But exactly that, you can trade, you can swap, or in a lot of cases, what I do is exactly that: sell stuff on to make way for new things. So that's, I suppose, some hints and tips, and just a bit about me and what I've done. And again, as anybody who's coming to the NEC, guys, don't be shy, come and say hello. I know there's already about 4 or 5 other people I don't know who have not already met who are going to come over. Sixo's coming as well. He was going to do a store, but he isn't at the moment, so he's going to be there. He's not going to be standing on my store. He's going to be doing a lot of shopping himself, but I imagine we're going to be doing quite a bit of chatting as well. Simon UK Collector's coming with us. Pete, you love it, is coming with us to do a stand. Colin, who's Magnum Prime, he's coming to do a stand. So again, I've got 3 big tables. It's going to be a blast. There's loads of things there. I'm going to try, as I always say, try to get as much content on as possible, but as you're aware, I get caught up in the moment and I tend to not do that, but I'll always give you a good recap at the end. So there you go, that's something to look forward to. Also, I want to look forward to, of course, the Comic-Con, but then not until next month. Just a brief note on that, of course, we are going to be getting a lot more reveals as Transformers fans at the Toy Fair, not Comic-Con. Because, of course, we didn't get the greatest pulse count. I'm not going to elaborate on that anymore and dwell, that's the word I'm after. I'm not going to dwell on that anymore because it is what it is. It's done what it's done, and I love Overcharge. I've had the privilege of reviewing him. He's fantastic. So that's things I'm obviously looking forward to. Things that I've been lucky enough to have in hand and have a play with. Very quickly, actually, it's not written down on here, but that's because I've just done the transformation process video for New Age Snarl. I had great fun transforming that, believe it or not. Fun figure, got the review done quite quick. Whether I'm getting used to their transformation processes or not, I don't know. But anyway, it's a fun figure, and hopefully you can get to see that from the review and from the transformation. You don't need a PhD doctorate in engineering to be able to transform him. It's fine, it's fun, and it's, yeah, relatively easy, but it's good and it's clever, is what I want to say. So that's one thing that I've had great experience with. And the other one, it's really obvious. It's the two things that have come. As I said, I'm going to come back on these. Blokees have blown me away, in honesty, because I was always skeptical of things, you know, and I've always been honest that things that don't transform. However, I've reviewed 3.0 figures. They're amazing. I've reviewed YOLO Park figures, and I've, you know, bought and sold them, funny enough. I've still got the Megatron, but the movie ones didn't fit my collection, but I brought them to experience them and then sold them on. So yeah, I've got used to these sort of figures, which sometimes they don't like to be called kits or whatever, but these Blokees are so much fun. They're fun to assemble. There's quite a few parts. The reason why there's so many parts is because it just adds to the articulation and the build fun of doing it as well. It's great to get a figure, but it's also a bit more fun and a bit more satisfying. You can look at it and think that was nothing but pieces a minute ago. Very clever, very good engineering. Expect me to drip feed quite a few of them videos out. I've changed the order completely, obviously, because Ratchet is going to be the third review. When the next video comes up, it's going to be Thundercracker, which was video 2. But I wanted to get out, and I wanted to get out exactly the video I got out earlier. I wanted to get out the tutorial to show people how much fun it is, because I was just getting used to them. The first video, obviously, with Thundercracker took me about 15 minutes, and I didn't want to be, it took quite a bit of time because I was completely new, no experience to it, just seen them built, and just, as I say, I saw Toy Box Soapbox building a Shockwave one next to me, but in honesty I wasn't paying too much attention. I was listening to everybody else, but I was sort of watching them in the corner of my eye, and I didn't again realise how many pieces they are. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is they're fun, they're great, and I can seriously see me looking at getting more of them because they're a lot of fun, and they're really cost effective as well, which is the other good thing. Although I've been sent them, I'm going to of course get some more, so I'll get them, and they're not too expensive. Now the other thing again I wanted to address, even though I've only done about 5 videos, is the Transformers 1 mainline figures. And don't get me wrong, I think the Rise of the Beast ones also were great. They were very good mainline figures. You know, lots of people argued that the mainline Prime and Optimus Prime, or the Voyager ones, were in some ways a bit better than the Studio series. This is an exception in that, of course, the one mainline Prime isn't as good as the Studio series. But what I'm trying to get across to you is these mainline figures. That B127 Energon Glow Bumblebee is fantastic. It is only 6 steps to transform. In its alternate mode, it looks way more detailed, way more intricate. The glow on it is fantastic. It works so well in both modes. I love it. Never mind my kids. I love it. Same as the big Optimus Prime. That's, I think, a Titan Changer size, whatever size they call them. Huge figure. Looks quite basic. It's pretty basic, but how much fun is it? It looks really, really good. And again, I'm just really enjoying the experience of being able to get, again, figures that perhaps I necessarily wouldn't go out and buy. And again, I'm going to get as many of them out as fast as possible as well. So that also, you know, brings me on to Transformers 1. It just seems at the moment to be getting the best reception ever. Everybody's talking about it. It's doing really well on the ratings. I've still only seen the first trailer, guys. That's all I've seen, because everyone just says there's so many spoilers and other things, and I got completely engrossed and what's the word I'm after? When I was doing all the Rise of the Beast features and all that sort of stuff, I watched every single thing on it. When it comes to watching the movie, I was a bit like, I've seen this, I know what's going to happen, Whereas with this, I haven't really, apart from the main story where they're going to fall out, I know about. I've not seen, as I say, Blokees, ironically enough, spoiled it for me in the fact that I now know that there's Hound, Ironhide and Wheeljack in it. No idea they were in there, but now of course I've seen them in the Blokees figures. So at the moment it seems to be getting a really, really good reception. October the 11th is when we've got to wait to watch it, so I can't wait to do that. I'm even thinking of watching it on 4DX just to get the full experience. And I appreciate you guys as well in the comments not spoiling it for me either. Oh, I nearly knocked everything over. And I am going to catch up with all the comments as well. The reason why I stayed off of them because I could see a few people were talking about it, but I will catch up with all the comments as always. And to be fair, as I say, that's pretty much it. I like at the moment keeping these nice and small into 20-minute packages. I'm open, and as I say, to doing interviews in the future, taking down again your questions and answering them in more detail on this. And as always, just talking to you about things that I'm looking forward to and things that I think have actually surprised me and that are really great in hand. As always though, guys, thank you ever so much for listening to me. Yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say. And maybe just apologies on the 6, 7, 8 videos you're going to be getting a day until I catch up. But there you go, guys. Thanks for listening and watching. Take care.